All right. Here we go. Live with some more Ashes of Creation dev stream. This time, the Ashes of Creation Mage archetype update. And that one was, let's look here. Let's see. That was back in, it's been a while. Yeah, it's been a while. So we're going to go through this like I've done the other videos, working our way back through the 70 or so updates that they have had thus far and getting my reaction. Obviously, this isn't the first time I've seen this one, but it has been a long time and I have short-term memory stuff. So it'll be like it's the first time all over again. I think I remember liking it. So let's see what happens. Here we go. Oh, yeah. All right. Alpha 2 Mage Preview.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another live stream.
Welcome, Stephen.
Of Vera. I am joined today by three of our absolutely
Look at that bird.
Awesome developers. We have with us two regulars and one new face. One of our engineers, obviously our glorious engineers, Keenan. How you doing, buddy?
Good. Thanks for asking.
Welcome, sir. Welcome back. It was just, let's see, last time you were on was for the tank, I believe the tank showcase, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
And we're starting to dig back a little bit now.
As well from that showcase, one of our senior designers, Mr. Trad. How you doing, buddy?
Mr. Trad, he's always on here.
Doing good. Hello, everyone. Good to see everyone again.
And then we have a new face with us, one of our senior visual effects artists.
As of the time of recording this, the most recent update was the Ranger update.
Yeah, this is fun.
So it's kind of fun going back.
Yes, it is.
And you have been doing a lot of work on the visual effects side, and today I know many in our audience have been anticipating
that lighting is sick.
Early work in progress look at the Alpha 2 Mage, and we have, I'm sure already the chat is ecstatic looking at the hotbars of abilities that we're going to be looking at today. We're not going to go through all of them, but we are going to go through I believe the electrical spells, some of the utilities, and some of the frost abilities, right, Trat?
That's right.
Bring the juice.
We're going to be looking at a bit of an ice lightning mage. This will not be the only elements that you'll see on the mage, but that's what we're going to be focused on today. And just specifically some interactions between those elements. And
they've made improvements since this one, but wow, the environment.
I know we've been talking about this obviously for a good amount of time, and the way that kind of the class kits synergize and work together, and you guys saw a little bit of that with the tank demonstration between
yeah, tell me you're not impressed with that, with the lighting.
Knockdown promotion, is that right, Trent?
That's correct. Yeah, we're going to be diving a little bit deeper into that kind of stuff. You'll see probably 3 or 4 different interactions within this kit, and that's just the start of it.
Cool. Now,
who's our feathered friend here?
We are in the Riverlands, of course, but we are, where are we right now? I think we're at the, this is like a...
we're going to think that we know the Riverlands so well because of these updates, but I guarantee that won't be the case. Maybe after playing Alpha 2, but I don't know.
Prison / trial location that they kept criminals for court. And we're not going to go inside this location because I think it's filled with some goblins that might be a little bit beyond our pay grade. But outside, I think there are some more friendly flowers, perhaps, that we can also play with, and then maybe some rock monsters. But what I want to do before we start there is I think it would be beneficial for us to first get a kind of a base on what each of these abilities do. I know that that was something that a lot of the players really liked seeing before we actually get into some combat interactions. And then later, I'm going to let Trad show off some of the intricate combos when we kind of showcase the broader kit. But one thing I want to tell the audience is that, you know, in our previous showcases, we've tended to kind of showcase a little bit more gameplay-oriented kind of walkthroughs of zones and areas, and have elements of different encounter designs. And,
can't wait to get back through those
and whatnot. Today, we're going to really focus in on these individual abilities, their mechanics, and what it means for the broader, combat design of our archetypes in Ashes of Creation, and hopefully get some good feedback from the community on
So it
this
looks like a
direction.
change of direction
And
in
I
the
know Keenan
updates.
has some
Okay.
questions that he wants to talk about, and John, I know we're going to talk with him a little bit about kind of the next edge kind of technology that we're utilizing for some of our VFX and how these abilities interact. So before we get started, let's go through these abilities one at a time. What's our first one that we have here? This is something that I think we had in Alpha 1. This was our Blink.
Blink.
Is that right, Trad?
Yep, this is one of the ones that we've brought back. This was definitely,
Nice.
I would say, most of our favorite spells from Alpha 1, so we had to bring it back. Even the visuals were just awesome. So
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, anyone who played Alpha 1 should be pretty familiar with
was on the cheat screen.
I'm going to set my cooldowns to 0 so I can show the abilities over and over again. So this is the Blink ability, and obviously its purpose is to close the gap, to create a gap, to
I like
reposition.
It. Little purple haze.
Talk to me a little bit about the use case of a Blink from the Mage's kit perspective.
I mean, you covered it there. It's a gap opener, gap closer, whatever you want it to be. And we'll showcase some kind of that.
That's going to cause some headaches.
Kind of gameplay and actual action once we get to the.
You're about to behead this guy. Poof.
This stream, but you'll see that mages will probably prefer to use this spell in different ways based on how you're speccing the mage. So if you are a more ranged-based classic mage, you'll most likely use this to create space to put.
No, but there's going to be options.
Opponent, but like a more melee-based mage might actually want to use
a melee mage.
Yes, to initiate. Absolutely, that feels like the way I would use it. And then after this, we have a. Let me see. Before we get into the combat abilities, perhaps we use. Actually, let me show the shield. Speaking of a combat mage, if you're in the middle of fighting, talk to me a little bit about the shell.
Yeah, this is a pretty classic mage spell that
I like it though. Look how that is nice.
It's a big health shield. It absorbs a bunch of damage and it has a duration.
That's beautiful.
You want to time it with when you're gonna anticipate taking a bunch of damage at once, and we'll show that off too in a little bit with some of our rotations that put the mage in a little bit more danger for greater payoff.
And this is kind of a short duration shell. Now, obviously, duration excuse me, can be one of the parameters that are augmented by some of our augment abilities, so it could be potentially extended by an augment in the future, but it's essentially short duration for those temporary hit points. Is that right? Kind of like if you're stuck in a little bit of a bind.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's the point of the duration. Like usually these health shields can be pretty strong, and so timing that is part of the balance and also part of the gameplay skill that comes into deciding when to use that and when to put it on cooldown.
And then let's show off this ball of lightning. Now, John, you have done a lot of work on the tech side for VFX with regards to how lightning kind of interacts with surfaces from a sticky surface perspective.
I think I remember this being really good.
Just establishing what I think is a really cool even style guide and shape language for this electricity. And talk to us a little bit about what it took to create this.
I think one of the things that helps set Ashes apart from an effects perspective is that we want our effects to be dynamically generated. We want them to interact with the world. We want them to feel like they are part of the combat. So when we come to wanting to work with something like lightning, we actually want it to seek out things in the world. And
that's going to hurt.
We want it to feel like you are actually in control of that lightning, not just plastered on top. So what we've been working on are kind of behavior systems where you model the behavior of the lightning and how it should work. And then, those systems get put into our effects and you get a very consistent, repetitive, not repetitive in like its motion, but how it behaves, result from it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it looks great.
It does.
I love this ability too. And when we get into combat, you guys will
wonder what kind of damage that's doing.
Use case.
I will say this is one of my favorites.
That's kind of nice if you just roll the barrages of that down the hill. I know he's got no cooldown,
but like it's a zoning tool. It's like a mobile zoning tool. It's great for applying status effects because it's hitting very rapidly. There's lots of different ways you can use this thing to your advantage.
I'm sorry.
This one was so much fun to make.
People aren't supposed to be using. I have cooldowns. I'm sorry. I set my cooldowns to 0, so I'm launching like a whole bunch of them. But I just really love the effects. I think it's so cool.
Yeah, it's pretty
It's just fun to
badass.
figure out how to get it to stick to the floor and make it actually kind of walk along, you know?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Now we also have a little bit on the frost side. Let's talk about this ability, and this one is
Speaking
Blizzard.
of cooldowns, here we go.
Explain a little bit about Blizzard, Keenan.
Blizzard is a very complicated spell. I have thought a lot about Blizzard. It rains projectiles down that deal damage, but also does a fairly frequent burst that applies chilled stacks. It also has a little bit of mobility into it, which
that
is
can mess
something
some
we talked
stuff up
about
for
quite a
sure.
bit. We felt that it was important to maintain some control over this ability, even though it's very powerful, just to give players that maximal sense of agency as they are destroying the battlefield.
Oh yeah, I mean I love the visuals here as well, John. The decals on the ground with the frost and the impacting ice shards. Now, talk to me a little bit about kind of how you create from a visual effects perspective these individual elements and their reusability.
You know, one of the things that's really good about working here is that we are involved very early on, and we can look at the things that are going to be challenging from, you know, what design and the engineering team want to build from an effects perspective, and then inform them on those things. And when we want really cool frost zones all over very uneven terrain that, you know, they build out like cool displacements in the ground, there's not a button for that. You know, we have to go and work really closely with tech art and figure that stuff out. And then how do you make sure that the particle systems can drive those decals and they can be animated? So, you know, being part of that process,
Don't even
very
know what
early
all
on,
that means.
working with the concept team to identify what the challenges are going to be, and then really being able to communicate with those teams about how to accomplish it before it hits our desk is really powerful.
Absolutely.
I remember when I showed you, or when you showed me your first iteration, John, and I was like, how does it look when you move? And you were like, what?
Yep. That is definitely one of the things that you are so very good at, Keenan. You take like whatever system we have designed and you find the one thing almost immediately that we didn't account for. And
thanks,
I
buddy.
appreciate you for that, because once we fix it, it looks so good.
Absolutely. You know, it is a very difficult process, kind of, you know, creating these abilities in a way that, you know, obviously answers the call from a design perspective in the kits that we want to create and the interconnectivity between those kits, but also establish what players want to see out of a class fantasy. And the Mage is a very near and dear to many people's hearts. I know it is to mine as well. And there's just so much space here to create strong visual languages around the different types of magics and elements that are utilized.
That's an interesting choice of words, languages.
Strong part of the Ashes of Creation class kits. So we have another ability called Cone of Cold. Talk to me a little bit, Trad, about Cone of Cold.
Yep, ice spells have a tendency to be complicated. This is another one. So this is a cone spell. I mean, it's pretty simple in that regard. Like, you hit enemies in front of you. You apply what is one of our elemental status effects called Chilled. It does as you would probably expect. It slows the target, and it can stack for an increasing amount of slow per stack you put on them. But if you might notice that there are some little crystals that it leaves on the ground there, and each one of those is a proximity ice mine that if someone steps on, it will explode and apply additional stats to damage. So it's
ice
really
mines.
good at creating area denial between
pissing off the flower.
Your opponent and yourself. And if
Bad
you
news.
force them through it, then you can count on being able to escalate your stats effects a little quicker.
Now, I've aggroed this monster. You guys will notice that it's not pathing towards me, but that's because I want to show off some additional abilities. Excuse me. That require a target.
There's that cough again.
So, Lightning Strike. Talk to me.
I don't know what's going on. I hope he gets it
does.
fixed.
Sure. This one's a little more straightforward. It's kind of one of your bread and butter single target abilities. You can charge it for varying degrees of efficacy, so you can either release it really soon to apply stacks quickly of the electrified status effect in the lightning category, or you can charge it up longer and do more damage. So I guess I'll take this opportunity to talk a little bit about what you might be noticing on the icons on these enemies. But once you build 10 stacks of electrified on the target, you'll notice that they'll get another icon on them, and that is the shocked status effect. And what that means is that when you hit them with damage, once that thing is applied, it will consume electrified stacks with each hit you do.
I just can't get over the environment. It's so badass.
Damage.
So I'll show that here. You can see that electrified gets applied.
All right.
But one thing also that is interesting is this elemental empowerment. Talk to me a little bit about elemental empowerment.
Yep, so you might be wondering, well, how am I going to get all the way to the number of status effects I need if my abilities are on cooldown and, I need 10 of them to get there? Well, the wand combo is, your weapon combo in general on the mage is very good at doing so because it will take the elements of the last spell.
See, this looks good on the mage when they were rapid firing off the ranger. Didn't feel right, unless it's a magic bow. I don't know.
As you're attacking them, so you might.
Looks good on the mage though.
So let's show off a little bit of that interaction after I kill this guy real quick. In the next one, and how promotions work on those types of status conditions. So what's a good promotion effect that I can do between electricity and frost right now?
Usually I like to stick with frost first. So I'll open with, do we want to show frostbolt?
Yeah, we can show frostbolt.
Let's do that. So this is a single target projectile attack that applies 2 stacks of chill to the enemy. And then after that, hit him with a few wand attacks. Now you'll see that you've gotten a frozen status effect on him, and then he timed that really well right there. But like in that very last frame, you'll see that he hit him with a lightning effect, which triggers the Shatus. It's not even a condition; it's just a reaction, and that just triggers a bunch of damage. So that's a good way to get your burst damage if you're rotating your spells and your elements the correct way.
Yeah, that's super cool. Very cool.
Yeah, that particular interaction is by far my favorite thing about this mage.
Yeah, I like the the ability for a spellcaster or just any player with their archetype, having the option to kind of weave in between those rotations and those spells, and to create successful combinations within their kit that you amplify the DPS or the status conditions or the control effects or whatever it is your end goal. Having a rotation that emphasizes your ability to succeed or fail in those combos, I think is compelling from a gameplay perspective.
Yeah, I agree. Like, they really are intended to be rotational drivers and help you get introduced to a kit that might otherwise.
That three-legged flower is getting after him.
Set of spells.
That's pretty cool monster.
Together. This is just one way that we're really making them feel connected, and it's not the only way. You'll see some other synergies that are a little bit more organic with a few of these other spells that we have yet to get to, but that's kind of the crux.
All right, you see 3 different effects on him right now. That's pretty cool.
Now talk to me.
Ball lightning just shattered that for you.
I know. I timed it so that it would essentially hit the target while the frost application applied. I used another ability called Chain Lightning. Talk to me about Chain Lightning.
Yeah, it's pretty similar to Lightning Strike, except it's more of an AoE role that it's filling. So you won't see it here because you're only attacking one target, but if there were multiple targets, you would see lightning branch off from the main target that you have to nearby additional targets. So it's really good at applying its status effect in a more AoE scenario, which we will also show you soon.
Let me see if I can... sorry, I spawned a few more targets just to demonstrate that. Let me sleep them all. Talk to me a little bit about sleep.
Yeah, so this is an AoE CC that breaks on damage. It's great for like creating space and setting up a window, but you can't just like DPS them down while they're sitting there weak.
Every one of
It's
these
kind
dev
of,
streams now,
trade-off
I'm
is
just like
very good,
captured by the environment. I
especially
mean, this
if you're in a
combat
more
is cool.
organized
Don't
group
get me wrong. The
that
monsters are
knows to
really
hold
cool.
off and like, you know, kind of control the battlefield without just throwing damage everywhere.
But the realism, it's not realism, the vibrance of the environment.
Yeah,
I love it.
That is super cool. But now, John, talk to me a little bit about the ability for this lightning to kind of connect with these different points of collision.
So, first, working with this combat team so early makes things like the idea that they want to be super twitchy and, you know, rotate the player while they're casting it very obvious from the start as a, you know, a huge challenge. So when we go about designing these systems, we're looking for not only does it look good, but is it performant?
Yeah, I still love that blink.
You know,
Catch me
building
if you
out
can,
systems
baby.
that can look for all of the players, the ground, collision objects like trees or rocks, and not only like collide them, but avoid them, is just super satisfying.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Very
And that's one of the
satisfying.
cool things, you know, you were talking about, like looking for that collision. And
He's going to get you too.
one thing I want to demonstrate on that comment,
I killed your
let me see if I can
friends.
find a good spot to showcase that here. Hold on one second. Let me just spawn a little dude maybe right here-ish. And then, oh, actually, no, wait. We got a friend.
Hey, buddy.
She to sleep.
That's a nice little swing attack.
Okay, and then let me get behind this rock. Whoops, sorry guys. I'll launch around this area here. Oh, that looked so good. Did you guys
Nice
see that
arc, yeah.
That was so cool.
Yep.
All hacks.
Talk
And
to
you
us
can
about that,
rotate
John.
while you're casting. So we wanted to really pay attention to that player agency that's been so important for the combat team. You know, if you're
Steven,
able to move and
it's getting
rotate,
a little ugly,
get out
buddy.
of the way, and your effects
you're
suddenly
leaking magic
disconnect
on the
from you and
ground.
don't feel like you're in control of them anymore. It doesn't look right, and we really want it to look and feel interactive and fun. You know, we don't want you to turn the effects off. We want you to enjoy it.
Yes.
I'm definitely not used to seeing such like grounded lightning in games and MMOs especially. No
I
pun
am
intended.
a mage player, and bad lightning angers me.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it was just not allowed. Like, we had to do better.
No, that
And
ball lightning is...
it's still
That's
very much
pretty
a work
sick,
in
too.
progress, but we are definitely on the right path, and it's performant. And
That
you know,
right
I
there
think another
is
aspect of this that's really
damn.
cool is you're looking at it as lightning right now, but the same system that does lightning does the ice crystals, does the
Really?
airstrike roots.
Oh,
There's
okay.
all kinds of different behaviors that these very performant systems
Came into
can
the
handle.
Ranger. Yep.
Absolutely. All right, next up we have Arcane Volley. What is Arcane Volley?
This is a single target arcane
Oh.
spell. Unlike the other ones we've shown you, this doesn't have any particular
Nice.
element associated
I like
with
the
it.
look of that.
And it might look a little underwhelming at
It's a
first.
very Stargate Atlantis
With
drone
this
attack
on,
look.
A 2
like it.
charge cooldown, and there is a particular synergy that we all like to use with it. If you haven't figured it out, it's how it synergizes with the shocked status effect. The shocked status basically says with each hit, it triggers additional damage, and Arcane Volley is a perfect candidate for that
Okay.
synergy.
You know, I am going
Caw-caw!
to make sure this guy's wings are good to go.
Oh, boy.
Trad, I would love for you
Wow.
and I'd perhaps
I'm
swap
sure this will
places
go
here,
well.
and for you to walk us through some of these more elaborate
gonna be great.
combinations. One thing that is really cool, guys, I don't know, it was about a year ago or so, we showed off this particular Thunderbolt gliding mount, and we put a little bit more work. Jason's been putting a little bit more work into the glide mechanic. And let's see if I can set myself up. I want to fly you over to a little location.
You can do it, Steven. Come on.
Trad, where you can demonstrate some of these combos. So I think there's a plateau that's kind of near here. Let's see if we can do this. Oh God, and we're doing it. Okay, so this is kind of
That
the
is
gliding
wild.
distance that you can
I like
develop
it.
a little bit with these gliding mounts. So there's some good amount of
No, I want the
distance
straight up
travel.
flying
Oh
mount.
my god, I pulled a
Yeah,
little
I
bit.
If I have to have a castle to get it,
You're
whatever.
getting
Just,
more.
Oh my.
yeah. Wait. Let me fly back out.
It's about to get ugly in here.
Reset. Let me reset. All right, wait. We're good. Let's just walk over. Actually, no. I'm gonna fly to.
God, that's gorgeous. Look at that river. Oh, please fly over the river. I don't think he does, but damn.
Oh, and he's T-posing. Don't mind him.
Ah.
Just tell him to go away.
You stay really still. You
Oh,
can't
and we
see
got another
me.
one. And he died.
Aw. What's up with the stone guy?
All right, Brad. Let me just hold on. My God, I hope I don't die. All right, get ready. We're gonna swap over here. Why are there so many creeps on this hill?
I think you
Oh,
invited them all to the
no.
party.
I'm sorry,
Oh
guys.
my gosh.
Give me 1 second. Let me just see if I can reset them. Okay.
Run away!
We're good.
Oh, we're cheating. Okay.
They reset.
They're all dancing now. Look at that.
Nope, they're trying to path.
It's like a Congo line of these flower monsters.
Very angry. Oh,
It's getting
why
hostile.
won't they leash?
They have a super long leash radius.
Okay. Trad, let's you and I swap.
No, I think they should chase
Wanna
you for a
swap?
long time, yeah.
And we'll do this over here.
Yeah, good luck, Trent.
Hopefully
Yeah, you
they
set them
will
up for
reset.
success here.
Welcome, Tread.
Yes.
All
Just
right.
a big AoE pull.
All right, we're gonna swap. Give me 1 second. And we are now swapped, or we're swapping. Sorry, Trad, come on over. And show us some of the magic in the combos.
All right, we are back. I'm gonna do my best to salvage this situation here. Got a big pull. All right, so first I'm gonna thin out this encounter a little bit. I'm gonna demonstrate one of the more single.
I just want you to know, Trad, real quick, that prior to you thinning out the herd there, that if it wasn't for my training all of those creeps, you would not have had this a spectacular opportunity to just showcase the sheer AoE potential in this kit.
Oh, I see. We're skipping straight to that.
Oh,
All right.
okay, yeah.
You can do it without the cooldowns too.
No pressure whatsoever. All right, no, let's set our
Yeah,
cooldowns back
turn
too.
your cooldowns back
Yeah.
on, yeah.
You can do it.
Oh yeah.
All right, doing it live.
This should go.
Let's see first.
So walk us through kind of what you're gonna use.
So because this is going to be more of an AoE combo, I would say one of the better rotations for this is almost one of the more battle mage-like rotations. So that this is going to be something you could almost expect from, like maybe Mage.
I like the
Fighter
idea.
or something like that. You know, I'm going to equip
Battle
the Great
mage.
Blade. So this is just to show that mages use non-conventional weapons.
I don't like the giant sword. I just answered their question on that today on 2 different
Especially with
platforms.
what we
I
showed you
don't
earlier,
like the giant
elemental
weapons.
Well, this will actually apply to all things that you hit in your cleaving radius with the greatsword.
And there were plenty of people that disagreed with that, but they're wrong. It just looks silly. That's not like the most over-the-top one, but you know what I'm talking about in the recent ones. Nice shot. Oh, he's getting up in there.
No, Trad.
Oh,
Oh, God.
Nikes, he's dead.
I canceled my blizzard.
Ah.
I canceled my blizzard.
That was a rip.
Oh, that's so good.
Oh, wow.
Too many mobs, dude.
Oh, we're good. We're
Oh,
good.
look at the
You're not
ashes
bad.
coming off of him.
Reset.
That was
Now
pretty
you're
cool.
reset. You're good. Okay, guys, I just had to set Trad up to die like that. I
There you go.
apologize.
Yep.
I just wanted to just
Appreciate
showcase
it.
that the mage is not a literal god, like in many games. That if you overpull and you bite off more than you can chew,
It's exactly
you're
what
still
you meant to
gonna die.
do. Oh,
We
damage.
can't ever get it the first try, right? That would be a boring MMO.
No, that would be very boring. There's a little bit of a, difficulty challenge here. Oh, you almost made it back. This is nice. Not bad. Kind of like a little puzzle to get back in here.
No
Did
doubt.
it pretty quick too. I get lost.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna get lost all the time. My
Alright.
sense of direction is
Get a little
terrible.
bit of a better setup here.
Land
Alright, I'm gonna
nav
shelve
failure.
The AOE one and go to the single target one, and then we'll do the AOE
Alright,
one
sounds
again
good.
after that. Alright. Alright, so this is a little easier one. Here we go.
You're gonna need your wand.
Get your wand. Your wand, sir.
Oh, okay, yeah, some big deeps there. And that's because of the
Deeps?
shattered.
DPS for the uninitiated.
Oh, you slept the next one, nice. I love that ball. Oh, you're making quick work of these, Trad. Not bad.
Yep.
Not too shabby,
the
not too
single target
shabby.
Rotation I like a lot, at least with this kit. Once you start introducing some of these other elements in here that we're not going to show you this time, but you'll get to see them eventually. It
All
really
right.
opens.
Yeah,
like,
I think we're about ready
a
for
whole
another
realm of
mage update.
possibilities. Actually, we could even try it on this one. This guy's got
Oh,
a lot
nice.
of health.
This
I
guy
think
takes
we're getting a
rotations to bring
PvP
down.
next update.
Yeah, I've been really practiced on this.
So
one.
hopefully a mix of classes.
And now, Keenan, talk to us a little bit about kind of the process that goes into creating these, class kits for Alpha 2. Your strike team has been hard at work and kind of
Boom, run
developing
away!
phase 1 and phase 2 of these. What exactly goes into those?
Oh yeah, you
phases?
got him mad.
Well,
He's
it's
all the way mad.
Pretty much a 3-phase process. Phase 1 is very open-ended. We pretty much try everything under the sun, and we put it together in every way.
I bet
we
he's
can
taking
imagine
some
and try to
damage.
Figure out what we like and don't like, and iterate fast. Like we usually do playables like twice a week when we're in that phase. What you guys are seeing here is actually abilities that are in the process of passing phase 2. So they are approaching levels where we are happy with how they play, happy with how they look,
Okay.
and some details may change over time, but generally speaking, this is what we're going for. And from here, it would mostly just be like polish and assets and just getting like external feedback and stuff like that.
Very nice. Trad, I liked your use of slumber there. You're in a precarious spot.
Yeah, it's very slumbery. I feel very slumbery
God.
right now too.
Oh my God, Trad! I
think
am
he cast a
literally
sleep
on the
spell
edge of
on
my
me.
seat, just watching this, hoping you don't turn into ash. Oh God.
Ah, easy,
Trad.
easy, easy. Come on, take him out.
Oh my gosh, that was crazy.
Wow.
Clutch shell.
I wanted
Heal
to
up,
get
brother.
Close, It's good for the audience.
Yeah. Yep.
Stop
Me
spinning
too.
so much,
That's
dude.
when I die. It's because it's
Yeah, I mean it's dramatic effect.
Let me see the sights.
Totally.
All right, should we set our health back up, or do we have to wait for regen here? Gonna do
No,
it the
you
classic
can
way.
set it.
Alright,
Nah,
Is
do
you
it.
can negative nuke yourself.
Dude, the aggro range on these things. I see why you aggro everything so often.
You see what I mean? This is what I'm having to deal with right now.
It's terrible. The working conditions are out of control.
That's well done. You see this, audience? Utilize elements of the terrain to obstruct the pathing from the monster while we have yet to stand up the right pathing to deal with that. Oh, it's so good. This guy's a little boy, though. He's not too bad. This is just more of like the single rotation kit.
Yep.
And you do not have to build your mage down this elemental path, right? That's one of the
Yeah, we don't want
design elements of this kit.
You gotta have
is that
choices.
There are a lot of
like
different
viable
paths
choices.
that you're
Nobody
able to
wants
take
the
mage
meta.
down, not just the lightning and ice path or elemental.
They said they're
Talk
trying
us
to
a little bit
avoid
about
that,
kind
so
of
we'll
the
see how that gets
composition
implemented.
of abilities that are intended between utility, defensive, gap closers, and mobility, DPS oriented ones.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what we've been demonstrating a little bit with some of these other ones. Like this shell has definitely saved me more than a few times. Slumber as well. Like a lot of defensive utility goes into the mage being able to sustain themselves, when they're having situations like this where, detected by mobs and they weren't quite prepared for it. And I think that's really what rounds out the kit for classes like this. It's not all about just dishing out DPS all the time. It really comes down to those like situational things and you know, using those things intelligently to come out on top.
Nice.
Let's see if we can get an AoE encounter here.
By the way, if you want to turn around, Trad, you're able to. You can do like 1, 2, and 3, just kind of in the middle, just face directly into that dirt area there, and just numpad 1, 2, 3, and it'll spawn just right in front of you. And just turn slightly. Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
All right, classic AoE encounter here. Let's go.
And guys, just to give you context here, as Trad's doing this, again, we were taking a little bit of a direction here with this showcase. We wanted to kind of give you just how we do things from a combat arena perspective and development perspective, and how we iterate. As Keenan was talking about, you know, there are multiple iterations that occur during phase 1 development, twice a week almost with that strike team. And they use arenas that are a little bit lower weight than the than the Ashes of Creation world, and that's kind of the combat arena that has things like dummies and, you know, just a lot of different design-oriented test subjects that are helpful. One of those is just spawning monsters as you need it.
Yeah, one of our guiding theories is that the more iterations we can execute on, the better the game will be.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
we're all about minimizing that time to iteration.
Yeah.
That's something.
Yeah, I
that's
forgot
also
about
really
this area in the
important for
map.
us.
This is pretty cool. This is pretty
When
cool.
you guys are iterating so quickly, you know, we want to make sure that the systems that
That
are
ball,
using
that rolling
animation
lightning,
to
whatever they're
really drive
calling
the
it,
effects
that is so
don't
awesome.
break every 4 days because you guys decided to change it up. We really want to only address changes for, you know, major differences in how the ability functions. So these systems are pretty robust.
Yeah. And I noticed there, Trad, when you were swinging with your greatsword, you had that elemental. Is it elemental empowerment?
Elemental empowerment. Yeah, that's kind of what I was alluding to earlier. Like, it's not just the wand that interacts with these different abilities. Different weapons have different synergies with class abilities, which just it introduces that extra level of depth, right? It's like, you know, how can I maximize the effect of this? And, you know, it's like I'm trading, in this case, my ranged potential for the ability to apply these status effects in a more AoE regard, which makes the greatsword a lot better for dealing with packs than the wand. And, you know, sometimes you'll even be able to use either one based on the situation, right? We'll allow players to swap their weapons based on, you know, what they are coming up against, and it creates a lot of answers to different situations if you have the tools for it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just to be clear, the greatsword was dealing so much damage there because they were shocked.
Exactly.
Nice.
It's
All
good,
right,
it's
so
good
that
AoE,
combination,
but
this
by itself,
attack
it's not-
mage is going to be
it's not
pretty
that good.
deadly.
It was really the shock that was making it deal
Nice.
so much damage.
Yeah. Well, oh, you got another little friend there. You could probably put
Wakey, wakey.
press 4 a couple times. You want to grab a couple more of those. Oh yeah, go for those.
I think we'll just put him to sleep.
Night night.
Well,
God, that
guys,
is
as
gorgeous.
always, you know, this is a continued work in progress. Alpha 2, as you know, is a big test period for us. A lot of the archetypes are going to be online to a significant level with a significant amount of abilities that are going to be available to kind of test. And as part of our monthly showcases where we show you development in progress, this is our opportunity to collect feedback.
Oh my
on
God,
what
look
you
at
guys
that.
have seen. Keenan,
I
do
can
you
just
have some questions that are
imagine
most
running
relevant,
running
for
cargo
your
down that
teams,
river.
with regards
gonna be
to
amazing.
the iteration and development of this combat that you'd like to posit to the community?
Yeah, I would say there's 3 major things that I'm interested in gathering feedback on, and the first one stems from player agency, which is one of the things that we prioritize the most. And so, in the context of this kit, what that looks like is how people feel about the amount of mobility that it has during spells. People may have noticed that the cleric was walking out of its spells and canceling them, but this mage can actually continue to cast. They just have a slower movement speed. How do people feel about that? How does it look?
It looked good. It looked really
The
good.
second thing I'm interested in is how the transition between spells is coming across. Does it look good? Does it look clunky? How do people feel about that? And
It's
then
good. I'm
finally,
not sure about the mix of the
complexity
ice and the
kit. Are
electrical,
people
like they
happy with
overshadow each
developmental
other a little bit,
interactions
but
and how they,
that's
how
just
they
a
think about
player
them during
choice
combat,
there.
or are they interested in something
I love
more
that.
complicated or
Love
less
that.
complicated?
And that. Oh my goodness.
Awesome.
Yep.
And guys, as always,
Not bad at all.
remember
Not
this
bad
is
at
a
all.
work in progress. There is still iteration necessary. There's
Jump
a
off
lot
the
of
cliff,
artwork
Steven.
that's still outstanding and requires second, third, fourth passes.
No, that is
and
all good,
polish,
all the way
but
good.
we are showing you, everything as it is in development, because we find that it's a very important interaction with the community to collect this type of feedback and get your guys' thoughts on the direction that we're taking. Because at the end of the day, when we launch Ashes of Creation, we want to make sure that we've had as much touch.
I do love how much these guys listen to feedback.
What game is this?
It's so cool.
But with that being said, John, Trad, Keenan, I want to thank all three of you for joining me today and showcasing the hard work that you and the rest of the team have been putting towards developing this mage and the other types. I know I speak for the community.
Come
when I
on,
say
you can
thank
do it.
You guys are
You
doing
can fly.
an awesome job. Very excited to see this played by players.
That is
in Alpha
badass.
2. And with that being said, we will see you all back on stream.
He is absolutely correct. We will be back with another one of these beautiful, beautiful streams soon in this series of going back through all these Dev Live updates and seeing what information we can find. So if I remember, we saw either a warrior or fighter. We've seen the ranger, we've seen the cleric, and the mage. I'm really interested in the battle mage. Want to see what that thing can do. That might be a possibility. Might be a possibility for what I play. But thank you, stream. We'll come back soon. Hey, thank you for watching this video so far. Just wanted to jump in here and ask you if you don't mind to drop a like on this video, maybe even subscribe to the channel.